This month, 6 million of us will be locking in some guaranteed sunshine as we book our holidays. But how many grandparents will make the invite list, and why? For some, it's a great way for families to bond, while for others, it might just be a case of guaranteed free childcare. But is that right, Gloria?
Well, I don't think so. I think it'd be relatively few people who would do that. And speaking, as I mentioned before, grandparent to 10 grandchildren, it's a real privilege for me to actually be on holiday. I love it because I miss seeing them every weekend, you know, when they were smaller. And so I see them at night time going to bed, usually at about 3 or 4 in the morning, mind you, because they're that old. But the joy for me is that I know I'm going to see them again the next day.
Oh, yeah.
So I would babysit anybody's children because I love children. I love babies.
I'll
so
take
if you've got
you
a
up
baby,
on that, Gloria.
you can take them. But I think that the majority of grandparents, it's a real privilege. You love your grandchildren. It changes your life. It's just a different life when you have them.
Yeah.
And so for me, I would be first in the queue if they said, would you like to come on holidays?
Yeah.
I really would. Yeah.
Lovely. What about, but I mean, I suppose also you've got to think about, because more and more people now are having to, I mean, I know I did, you do, don't you? Your mum helps you look after your children.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult, isn't it? Because a friend of mine, sometimes we don't know the boundaries, but also sometimes our parents don't let us know where the boundaries are. So I know a lot of the time my mum might not necessarily want to do something, but will say, yeah, of course. Just in the fear of upsetting me by saying, actually, no, I want my time.
But she loves you.
Yeah, of course, and I understand that. So I often have to ask her and say, are you sure, Mum? Because it's no big deal. I want you to be happy as well as the kids and me and everything else. But a friend of mine recently ended up... It does happen sometimes that her mum would offer to take the children, and because she's got 3 who are really close in age, all under 5, her mum had said, can I just take the 2 and you keep the youngest, the baby? And in the end, my friend was like, well, don't have any of them then. You know, and sort of pushed her away. They take it personally without thinking about what it means to give 3 children.
But I think also, do we not fall into the trap? Because certainly my mum and dad helped me so much because they live next door, and it's really easy to fall in the trap. My child is so amazing. I love my child so much. But if I give you them all day, it's going to be the best day. and I think I fell foul of that. And when I look back over it, actually, my mum gave me so many different warnings. Like, both times when I was pregnant, she was like, oh, my God, like, not in a good way. She was like, what are you going to do? Oh, my God. So that gave me the first hint. She wasn't really rosy glow about being a grandparent. Then she said to me, motherhood is waking up every day going, please, God, not another day. Another clue that maybe she did.
That's a big clue.
Yeah, but I didn't take it. I just thought, oh, she's going to love having my children all the time. And then it wasn't until years later when my sister let drop that, obviously, my mum had said something about this. And I was so shocked. But actually, both of us...
medical science bit again. It's not the pain, it's the memory loss.
It's the memory loss. I should have not had memory loss, but also she probably should have said, actually, it's a bit much.
Yeah.
When Maddie was small, I used to wake up in the morning because we lived next door. I had a really early call for this early morning show I did. So at 4:45 in the morning, I'd go around the back garden with my child, open the back door, go into my mum's room and put my baby into her bed.
But
I think I might have crossed the line. I didn't realise at the time.
A few lines.
Deep down, you were thinking, how lovely is this?
I slipped my beautiful baby under your arm. My mum like, oh. My mum likes a gin late at night, so she was probably thought I'd done hangovers and babies.
But actually, some years back, I did a book on grandparenting. I did a lot of research on it. And I think what happens is that, particularly your daughter, when your daughter says to you, look, Mum, we won't be able to afford childcare, so will you have the baby? You go, yes. So you're so keen to sort of, take the baby on board. But what happens is, really, you're right, parents should be honest and say, do you know what, actually, I want to have a little bit of golf time or whatever it is, and I could do maybe 2 days, but I can't do 5. Because I think that parents, get embroiled in it, and then resentment sets in because you think, this is my time, I'm retired.
I find a lot of people, grandparents, get fearful that if they try and put that boundary in the place, they're going to alienate their child.
Of course, because you love your child so much and you love your grandchild so much,
This is the
you're
thing.
afraid of offending. But honestly, it really is the best policy.
Yeah, but I think it comes from both. So I think you're entirely right. With me and my mum, I had a really frank conversation where I said, you have to be honest with me and tell me where your limits are. But I also have to accept her limits without being offended. Because it's not offensive that she doesn't want to spend 24/7 with my children that I've decided to have. So I guess it's that two-way.
Do you know, we did a poll on this as well, and are you fed up with giving free childcare to your grandkids? 79% said no, they're not fed up with giving free childcare. And there's some lovely comments. This one's from Linda. I don't know if this is Nanny Linda. I cannot ever imagine asking for payment to look after my grandchildren. They are, after all, my own flesh and blood. I love taking care of them. In doing so, I'm saving their parents' money, which can instead be spent on the family, which is lovely.
And you know that
Really
lovely
nice.
saying, if I'd known that grandchildren were so lovely and so much fun, I would have had them first.
I really like that. Well, I mean, my mum and dad, they obviously my kids are a bit older, so you know they don't necessarily have to babysit all the time. But one of the joys that they've had is they've got to know my kids much more than I ever knew my grandparents, because we didn't grow up nearby to them. And I think, like for example, my son's having driving lessons. My dad can't wait to like take him out in the car and go to the
that
pub
won't go
with
well.
him and all that sort of thing. Do you know?
Two dramas coming.
all I think, great loose.
It's a nice thought. It's a nice thought.
Yes,
It's a lovely thought.
It hasn't happened yet, funny enough.